Hi, today I came to talk about the build I made for the Gauntlet. If you don't know what the Gauntlet is, you should check the links in the information. The Gauntlet is a very difficult event, it's challenging, it's awesome. It's in the middle of the league, so it doesn't matter if you feel burned out, you're going to have a fresh start with more difficult challenges and mobs and bosses and everything. So I'm going to start with general tips for the gauntlet, and then we are going to go for the build. First of all, don't rush. Don't feel in a hurry. It's very hard. Not only, I think this is the first gauntlet that we have the overhaul of GGG, of difficulty, so Act 1 will be a nightmare. So don't feel pressured to race, unless you're racing, if you're a racer, which I think you wouldn't be needing or wanting to see this video anyways, because you know stuff. But mostly you won't want to race because it's going to be very hard and it's going to be also fun hardcore. So you need to get stuff from the ground. You need to identify things. You need to check if how your defenses. So this is very important for you that you don't rush things. Secondly, you really have to get the idea, the mentality of the solo self found, right? This is very important. To which it's when you have to identify things, you have to look for your item bases. If you know about item filters, you should go for your favorite website and just configure it there. For example, in my case, I'm going to be going with the arc Flameblast, so I will look for a Vaal Flameblast in Veil side areas, and I also will look for wands and body armors with, I don't know, energy shields on them and etc. And try to veil the body armors via Veil side areas too, right? So these are the first initial recommendations. Don't rush. Try to have a mentality of solo self found. You are going to have to craft and you are going to have to pick items from the ground. One more thing is that you should never avoid league stuff. So, of course, we are going to have expedition here. Expedition, I think it's a good league. The rewards are awesome. And what you have to do is that you have, if you like delve, go delve. If you like incursion, go incursion. And, especially heist. Heist is a hard league in my opinion, but it's very rewarding and it's very necessary in solo self found. So you shouldn't skip league stuff because the gear will come. And if you have a more patience, you can even get gear for a second or third character because of things that may drop for you that you wouldn't think. Oh, this is good for this or that build, right? So you should of course focus farm or focus pick up things and identify and craft those things, but also you should think about going for other builds to which the items are good that drop it for you, like in a good occasion that the items drop, right? In my case here, I really like Delve. Delve is one of my favorite leagues, so that's why I'm showcasing here at tier 11 Delve maps. They're pretty decent. Of course, that if you have a very good build, you can push to tier 16, but having a very good build in the Gauntlet depends on these tips that I just gave you. You have to focus farm, you have to pay attention to items on the ground, you have to check your defenses. It's very important because like that you can play a lot of uh, many hours and you can pick up a lot of items. And so the better your items, the better your build is going to be, right? There's no extra rewards. It's just harder. That's the point of the gauntlet. And in my opinion, people in general, if you're not like a racer or a professional player, whatever this is in Exile, you should just focus to get to 90. 90 is a big challenge in the Gauntlet League. It's a very good thing to achieve and to go for, and it's something that I really suggest you try for. Aim to 90. Of course, aim to pass Act 1, then aim to pass Act 2, 3, and then when you're in maps and start to gear up, you have to go and aim to get to 90. Even if you have to go from, I don't know, white maps to do that, but which is going to be insanely hard. But and I don't know, long. But that's one good point that you should try to focus. So the builds that I have here, we can see that of course I am in trade hardcore, but this build was very tough. It was very I don't know, easy to use. Of course, I had here a inspired learning. You don't focus on unique items on the gauntlet. You should just have, I think those nodes are very good to pick up, but you can change them later if you prefer, and just get anything here. Any jewel will do. But these nodes here are pretty good. They make the build better also. So here we have a little bit of life, we have mind over matter, and we have here the phase acrobatics. This makes you very tough. You are going to be very tough. You can face many things. So some points of interest here is that you should get here at least, right? To get this extra elemental resistance is very important. The Gauntlet is going to be very hard to cap it at first at 75. We'll get to maps. Mind over matter, very important. This node here is also good because we are going to be using seals here. So this is an enormous boost of DPS here. We are going to use golems as well. So if you can have golems, if you can have, of course they don't give you ailment avoidance anymore, but still it's good because of the kills golem buff and the other buffs as well. And also if you think about the ascendancy here, we are not going to get convergence all the time. So it's one way to go for Elementalist with convergence, but I think it depends on your preference. You can go golems or you can go the way of just damage here, exposure. In my case here, I went with the golems and I went with Shaper of Winter. Why? Because I am an arc build, so I will be shocking all the time. I will be shocking a lot. And I have even increased shock effect here. So the enemies will take increased damage. But Shaper of Winter makes, especially for the Gauntlet, it's an extra layer of defense. And also Shaper of Winter makes sense because of the hypothermia support, so it really helps. Hypothermia support is still very strong with many builds, so this is not a cold damage build, so you should go for hypothermia and Shaper of Winter. And the defensive layer here is because the enemies are going to be chilled, so they're going to be slower. Not as slow as Temporal Chains, but they are going to be slower, and they are be less threatening, right? As for the gear, I suggest you should go a shield in the Gauntlet. I have here 2 ones. I was in Trade League, so my pull was low because I had Inspired Learning. So all the time when I was running as crazy in maps, I would get so many mods from monsters that I would the pull of life and mana that I had here was enough. I was with like 6k pull. It was fine. But you should definitely go shield, get a shield with spell damage and life in it. It's going to be awesome. This one is excellent for Trade League if you want to experiment this build in Trade League. Cloak of Fame because of the 20% of physical damage from hits taken as fire damage, which pretty much is 20% physical damage removed. Like it's going to be additional to your Chaos Golem, just makes you much tougher. And people tend to underestimate physical damage. Physical damage this game is a big thing. Many mobs, the majority of the mobs get physical damage and mixed damage, which is elemental with physical. So that's why we have here the Bastion of Elements with the Primal Aegis allocated. This makes you very tough for the mixed damage builds and the pure elemental damage builds. And together with Cloak of Flames, of course, you get the 24% physical damage when it's taken as fire. Cloak of Flames is not a rare item, so it's decent to try to go for it in the Gauntlet, but it's a 6-link Cloak of Flames. Now that is that's rarer. That's going to be a little harder. So if you can 5-link one, that's going to be great. If you have enough fuses to try to 6-link one, oh, this is going to be awesome. But you should focus on getting or a Cloak of Flame 5-link or another good body chest with some armor and life in it, and maybe some physical reduction too in the mods from Influence. That's going to be a 6-link or not. So also if you just focus farm going for Vaal side areas, there's some chances that you get some 6-links early in the league. So if you know what you're doing, that's something very good to focus about. So of course I have Trade League gear here. My gear is crazy, which makes me allows me to use the Inspired Learning, go a little more DPS here. But if you can, you just try to get as much life as possible in your gear. because one of the difficulties in the Gauntlet is the elemental resistance cap. That's one of the reasons that you should go a shield here instead of 2 wands, and focus and try to get life and elemental resistance on the shield is going to be amazing. If you can get double damage, if you can get some spell damage, it's going to be awesome too. But basically the shield is going to be life and resistances, because it's going to be, even with Elementalist, it's going to be hard to cap. In my case here, in the Trade League, I almost didn't cap, and of course, in the Trade League, I also had 62% chaos resistance. You should focus also in chaos resistance. It's very important. The Gauntlet is going to be a crazy amount of damage, especially now with the overhaul that they just remade everything. Try to get life, try to get, oh yeah, we have this kind of helmets here too. I have this helmet of 10% of physical damage from hits taken as fire damage. So this character here in the Trade League was insanely tanky, especially for physical damage, and I barely got hit because of the phase acrobatics. So you can see the phase acrobatics and acrobatics diminish your armor, but we are not getting physical damage reduction from armor. We are getting from raw values from the golem, right? We have here the golem. So we have 4% here, and additionally with the nodes here from the golem and these nodes here, you get to 7-8% physical reduction, and then we have the 10 and 20, 30% physical damage from hits taken as fire, which goes from 30 goes to I don't know 0% because of the 75% resistance, and also the primal ages. So the defenses are going to be very, very good if you just do exactly what I'm asking you to do here. You should of course focus on more life here, because you are not going to find inspired learning, and you should have fun. And this build basically what it uses is get here Orb of Storms with power charge and crit, and we have here a increased critical strike support because we are going to be using power charges. We have here Arc, 6 Link, you can see here Arcane Surge, Hypothermia, Lightning Penetration, Added Lightning, and Unleash. We can see here Flame Dash, Clarity, Heralded Thunder, and Immortal Call. The only thing that I have here is my Heralded Thunder and my Clarity, right? So that's your pool. That's your pool right here of life and mana. Of course, you can vary a bit, but for witches, that especially the I don't know, the ones that I make for elemental damage that uses wands, it's much more comfortable to go mind over matter, because I have so many mana nodes around here that make you really don't need to worry about mana and recovering the mana. So you should just focus on your life. I even had here some decent lightning damage leeches as life too, so that it's, I don't know, it gets you a little more comfortable also in the life zone. So I normally allocate Divine Judgment because it's very cheap, right? You can see here it's very cheap. It's just these 3 cheap oils here, and the difficulty will be get oils in the first place. So it's, you get to have to get to maps and then do this, right? And after that we have the Immortal Call, because I don't know, it's one of the good options in my opinion, Immortal Call, especially if you just have a lot of physical damage mitigation from here. You just go for Immortal Call. So, and also the chaos resistance here makes you also want to go to Immortal Call instead of just absorbing damage with Steel Skin. It's a very good option. Here you have Wave of Conviction, increased duration support, and increased area effect support, and a trigger wand. So, like I said, yes, it's a Trade League build. This is going to be a little harder to get this. You get to farm fast in yellow maps. You can get in white maps, but in yellow maps, the Betrayal can get a wand like this. You can get it like this, or you can get the craft. This is one of the options that makes the build more comfortable. You should have this set up here, of course, because Wave of Conviction is just so much more damage with the elemental exposure. But if you can't have the trigger wand, just have it like that and use it on bosses and on yellow mobs. When you get the trigger wand, it's just a comfort pickup, right? Apart from that, you have Ice Golem, Chaos Golem, Lightning Golem, and Flame Golem. Of course, I'm using using the golem nodes here, here, and here, right? So that you can have this better, and also the reservation of your herald nodes here, so that you can have a little better pool of life. Here we have our Vaal Flameblast together with hypothermia support, concentrated effect, and added lightning. Vaal Flameblast is a spell that is so good that it doesn't matter that you are using added lightning. You just have it just blasting things in front of you. It's just so strong, man. You can even, if you get your path of building going, you can check in path of building if what works. You can check by changing the gem. You come here, you put your Vaal Flameblast on, and then you go to the skills, you mark the Vaal Flameblast, you remove the gem that you are in doubt, right? You can see here the DPS, right? 426,000 damage is the DPS of the max stages, right? So you remove it, you can see the diminishes here, so it will suggest to you the better option. So for me, no awakening gems, this is very hard to get even in trade leagues, so I added lightning. That was the best option because I had many nodes of elemental damage and lightning damage. So this, together with the factors of added damage of 60% of Vaal Flameblast, and the more for stages, you get added lightning being the best option, even if it is a fire spell. And also, of course, I had a influence ring here with elemental weakness on hit. If you don't have one of those, it probably you want to have. You should have a setup of something cursing the enemies, like an orb of storm with curse or something like that. You can arrange this together with the veil of conviction, so that you can make it in another, and you can maybe abdicate the power charges here. It's a crescendo. The better gear you get, the more damage you're going to get, and the more comfortable you're going to get playing the build. So if you can't have a ring like this, or if you corrupt, okay, I do this all the time. I keep corrupting this. This was self-crafted. I dropped this pair of gloves, enchanted it, linked it, colored it, and then corrupted it. I lost, of course, many gloves in Expedition League so far, Jesus Christ. But sometimes I get a good one, like this one with increased maximum life in the implicit, as you can see. And sometimes I get a good curse, curse on hit, one gloves. So you should try to do this as well. If you are not aware of crafting recipes and what can you do on crafting, you should check my other videos on videos on the internet, on YouTube and Wikia to learn how to craft, because a very important part of solo self-found, the Gauntlet is going to be solo self-found, so if you don't know how to craft, you're going to be, I don't know, having a disadvantage towards other people. Not that you're competing, but you want to get to 90, you should know how to craft, right? I think that's all for this video. I hope that you liked the tips and the build as well. If you enjoyed the YouTube video here, the build, my channel, you should please subscribe, like, comment, because the algorithm not that I don't like, it's just that the algorithm measures things like this. Thank you so much for coming here. Thank you for watching the videos, and enjoy your build, enjoy your Gauntlet, enjoy your day. Bye.